They took everything from Diana: the title, the protection, the respect. Then they gave each bit of it to the woman who destroyed her marriage. When you see item number 5, what they gave Camilla compared to what Diana had at the end, it will break your heart, and then it will make you furious. 15 things, same palace, same rules. 2 women treated like they came from 2 different worlds. Diana asked for help, and they called her difficult. She asked for support, and they called her unstable. But when Camilla walked through those same doors, red carpet, no questions asked, Diana had 3 staff members at the end. 3, the mother of the future king, alone. Camilla has over 120 and never had to fight for a single one. This is all documented. Biographers wrote about it. The palace's own records confirm it. They just hope you never put Diana's column next to Camilla's. And item 15, the words used for Diana compared to the words used for Camilla, 27 years apart, will tell you everything about who this institution really values. Item 1. Diana was stripped of HRH in the divorce. She cried over it. Camilla received it the day she said, "I do." Wait until you see what they did with Diana's jewels and what William promised his mother he'd fix one day. All 15. Let's go. Number 1. HRH title. Here's what most people get wrong about the HRH title. They think it's just fancy letters. It's not. It's a signal to each government on Earth. This person is protected. This person matters. This person belongs. Diana had it for 15 years. Then a team of lawyers took it away in a single afternoon. She went from Her Royal Highness the Princess of Wales to just Diana, Princess of Wales. Sounds the same, right? It's not even close. That missing HRH changed how each embassy, each security team, each foreign government was required to treat her. Protocol officers didn't have to give her precedence anymore. Embassies could treat her like any other tourist walking through the door. Chris Anderson, the royal biographer, wrote that when Diana found out. 2 words. That stung. And here's the detail that gets me every time. Diana didn't fight to keep HRH for herself. She fought to keep it for her boys. She didn't want William and Harry's mother holding a lesser status than the other women in the family. She was thinking about her sons. As always, they said no. Now Camilla? She got HRH the moment she married Charles in 2005. No negotiation, no fight, no years of proving anything to anyone. Just a ceremony, and suddenly she's Her Royal Highness the Duchess of Cornwall. Full protection, full protocol, full institutional weight behind her name. Day 1. Everything Diana lost in a courtroom, handed to Camilla over champagne. Diana would have worn that title for the rest of her life. She would have carried it with grace. Instead, she spent her final year being treated like a private citizen by the same governments that used to roll out the red carpet. And Camilla? She's never known what it feels like to lose it. She's never had to. Number 2, office space. Diana was kicked out of her offices at St. James's Palace after the divorce, told to pack up, relocate. She ended up with a small suite at Kensington Palace. Functional, modest, the absolute bare minimum. No proper operational base, no dedicated workspace, just enough square footage to function and not an inch more. She made it work, because that's what Diana always did. She took whatever scraps they threw at her and somehow built something beautiful out of nothing. Camilla dedicated offices at Clarence House from day 1, later expanded operations inside Buckingham Palace itself, multiple rooms, full equipment, full funding. Tina Brown described Diana's post-divorce setup in the Diana Chronicles as deliberately reduced, scaled down to send a message about where Diana stood now. Camilla's setup sent a very different message. Diana got a broom closet and a budget cut. Camilla got a wing of the palace and an unlimited credit line. Same institution, same decade, different woman. Number 3, staff numbers. And this one? This is the item I told you about at the start. The one with the numbers that will make you sick. After the divorce, Diana had 3 staff members. 3. A secretary, a dresser, a part-time assistant. That's it. That was the entire operation. She was running a global humanitarian machine, landmine campaigns in Angola, AIDS work that literally changed how the entire planet saw the disease. Children's hospital visits across 3 continents, charity events, international travel, media coordination, all of it. 3 people. Camilla? According to the Prince of Wales Annual Review from 2009, her household had grown to well over 120 staff. Let that land for a second. Diana, the most famous woman alive, the mother of the future King of England, got 3 people to help her. Camilla, who most of Britain didn't even want near the throne at the time, got 120, and she never had to beg for a single one. Never had to justify it, never had to earn it. They just gave them to her. You don't need me to explain what that says about palace priorities. You already know. Diana ran a global charity empire that changed lives in over 40 countries, with 3 people and a phone. Camilla has 120 staff members and has never once set foot in a landmine field. That's not a comparison. That's an indictment. Number 4, mental health. Now, item 5 is the one that shifted something in me when I was putting this together, because it's not about money or office space. It's about how the palace treated these 2 women when they were at their most honest, their most human, their most vulnerable. When Diana told the world about her bulimia, her depression, her self-harm, in that BBC Panorama interview in November 1995, the palace treated it like treason, not a cry for help. Not a brave woman being honest about her suffering, treason against the institution. Time magazine reported that senior royals called her openness destabilizing. Her vulnerability, the very quality that made millions of ordinary people around the world fall in love with her, was weaponized against her behind closed doors. They called her unstable, difficult, emotional, too unpredictable to trust. She went on national television, looked straight at the camera, and told the truth about what was happening behind those palace walls. 23 million people watched, and instead of protecting her, instead of saying, "This woman needs help," they punished her for it. They made her the problem instead of fixing what was broken. Now look at Camilla. When she's spoken publicly about adjusting to royal life, about dealing with hostility, about finding her way after being the most hated woman in Britain. The palace frames each word as bravery, resilience, admirable personal growth, same institution, same kind of honest personal disclosure, completely opposite response. Diana's honesty made her a problem. Camilla's honesty makes her sympathetic. And the only thing that changed between those 2 verdicts was which woman the palace had decided to protect. Number 5, PR and reputation. And this next one? This is the one that makes my blood boil, because it wasn't quiet, it wasn't subtle. It was a calculated, funded, professional operation. And Tom Bauer documented each detail of it in Rebel Prince. Now, after the divorce, Diana had no PR support, 0 media backup. The palace didn't just stop defending her. They actively stepped aside while the tabloids tore her apart week after week after week. Positive Diana story? Ignored. Negative story about her personal life? Let it spread. But here's what they did for the woman who replaced her. Charles hired a man named Mark Bolland. His only job, his entire reason for being on the payroll, was to make Britain forget what Camilla did. Bolland planted stories in friendly newspapers. He built personal relationships with hand-picked journalists. He ran what the Times described in June 2000 as a deliberate, long-term media strategy designed to gradually make the British public accept Camilla Parker Bowles. The Guardian confirmed the full scope of it as recently as February 2023. Now think about what that actually means. The same palace that left Diana to face paparazzi ambushes and tabloid character assassinations completely alone. No backup, no protection, no institutional support. Then turned around and spent years building a professional PR machine specifically designed to rehabilitate the woman who helped destroy Diana's marriage, to make the public forget, to slowly, carefully rewrite the story. Diana got silence when she needed protection most. Camilla got a full-scale reputation laundering campaign, funded, directed, and executed by the palace itself. And that campaign? It's still running today. Every puff piece about Queen Camilla's incredible transformation. That's Mark Bolland's playbook, still going strong 25 years later. We're halfway through, and what we've already covered is damning. Title stripped, office reduced, 3 staff members, mental health weaponized, a palace-funded PR operation to protect the other woman. But the next items are where the money tells the story. And when you see the actual figures, you'll understand this wasn't just unfair treatment. This was institutional policy. Number 6, charities and patronages. Diana held over 100 patronages before the divorce, over 100 charities that relied on her name, her energy, her extraordinary ability to walk into a room full of suffering and make each person in it feel seen. After the settlement, they told her to cut it down to 6, from 100 to 6. And you know what she chose? Landmines, homelessness, AIDS, leprosy, children's hospitals, the arts, the causes nobody else in that family had the stomach to touch. Even stripped down to almost nothing, Diana chose the hardest ones. Camilla now holds over 90 patronages, more than Diana was even permitted to keep. And here's what really gets under my skin. Some of those patronages directly overlap with causes Diana championed first. The same humanitarian causes Diana was told she could no longer officially represent. Camilla's name is now attached to them. Same cause. Different woman getting the credit. Diana built those relationships from nothing. She sat on hospital floors. She held the hands of dying men when the whole world was afraid to touch them. And now someone else's name is on the letterhead. Number 7, travel budget. After the divorce, Diana paid for everything out of pocket. Every flight, every hotel, every security detail. No royal travel budget, commercial airlines, private security costs from her own funds. Bustle documented that her ability to do charitable work, the thing she lived for, was directly limited because she was personally paying for each trip. Camilla flies on royal aircraft. Full travel budget from the sovereign grant. That's taxpayer money. Full security. Full diplomatic protocol. Anywhere she wants. Anytime she feels like it. Diana paid her own way to visit landmine victims in Angola. She walked through active minefields in body armor. Camilla gets flown to garden parties on the public's dime. Let that comparison land. Number 8, bills and expenses. The New York Times reported the details of the 1996 settlement. Diana got roughly £17 million. Sounds generous, until you realize that from that single payment, she covered staff salaries, personal security, international travel, housing at Kensington Palace, and each expense tied to her charitable work. No annual budget, no ongoing funding, no institutional safety net. Camilla's expenses, covered entirely by the sovereign grant and the Duchy of Cornwall income, staff, travel, wardrobe, events, everything on an open tab. Diana got a one-time check and a locked door. Camilla gets a blank check with no expiration date. The mother of the future king was told to budget. The mistress was told to spend whatever she wanted. Now, remember item 15? The one I said would tie every thread together? We're almost there. But these final items build the emotional case for why that last comparison hits like nothing else. Number 9, Princess of Wales title. The letters patent of 1996 stripped Diana of the Princess of Wales title in practice. She could technically use a modified version, but the palace made its position clear. She was no longer the Princess of Wales. Not really. Not where it counted. Camilla got that title automatically when Charles became king. She could have used it since 2005. She chose Duchess of Cornwall because she knew Britain wasn't ready to hear those words next to her name. But the title was always there. Always hers whenever she wanted it. Diana had it ripped away. Camilla had it sitting on a shelf, waiting. Number 10, royal jewels. Diana returned major pieces to the royal jewelry collection after the divorce. The tiaras, the ceremonial jewels, the pieces that tell the world, this woman represents the crown. Back in the vault, Camilla wore the coronation crown, actual diamonds, actual history sitting on her head. She wears pieces from the royal collection to state dinners as routine now. Tiaras Diana never had access to after 1996, stones Diana may have once worn herself, are part of Camilla's regular rotation. Same vault, same stones, very different rules about who gets to touch them. Diana should have worn those tiaras for decades. She should have passed them down to Catherine herself. Instead, the woman who helped end her marriage wears them to dinner parties. Number 11. Queen Elizabeth's blessing. Diana never received a public word of support from Queen Elizabeth. Not during the marriage, not during the separation, not during the divorce. 15 years inside that family. Not one public statement. The closest the Queen ever got was calling Diana's death a loss to the nation. After she was already gone, after it was safe, after it cost absolutely nothing. But in February 2022, Queen Elizabeth publicly expressed her sincere wish for Camilla to be known as Queen Consort, written, published, broadcast to the entire Commonwealth, a direct endorsement from the monarch herself. Diana spent 15 years hoping for one word of public support from the Queen, just one. She never got it, not while she was alive, not when it could have made a difference. Camilla got the ultimate validation, in the Queen's own handwriting, shared with the entire world. The blessing Diana never received was handed to the woman who replaced her. Number 12, coronation. Diana was never part of a coronation. She never got to stand in Westminster Abbey as the wife of a king. By the time Charles took the throne, she'd been gone 25 years. Camilla stood in that abbey on May 6, 2023, and was crowned queen. She wore the crown. She took the oath. She sat beside the throne of England. And William was sitting in that same abbey, silent, watching the whole ceremony unfold in front of him. The crown being placed, the oath being taken. And you know, deep in your bones, you know, exactly who he was thinking about in that moment. The woman who should have been standing there. The woman who would have been if they'd just treated her with a fraction of the respect they've given Camilla. Number 13, William's promise. This one comes from Paul Burrell, Diana's butler, one of the few people she truly trusted with her heart. He said young William once told his mother, "Don't worry, Mummy, I'll give it back to you one day." He was talking about HRH, a little boy, making a promise to fix what the adults had broken. He never got that chance. Diana died before William had any power to change a single thing. But the fact that a child could see the injustice that clearly, could feel the wrongness that deeply, tells you everything about how obvious this was. Even a little boy knew it wasn't right, and somewhere that little boy grew up. He's waiting, and he remembers everything. Number 15, the final acknowledgement. And here we are. Number 15, the one I promised would tie everything together. When Diana died in August 1997, Tony Blair stood outside his church and called her the People's Princess. 4 words, beautiful, earned. And for 27 years, those words have been the closest thing to an official acknowledgement of what Diana meant to this world. 26 years later, the same institution that stripped Diana of her title, her staff, her budget, her patronages, her protection, and her dignity, placed a crown on Camilla's head and called her queen. Diana, the most loved, most mourned royal in modern history, got 4 words from a prime minister on a sidewalk. Camilla got a coronation inside Westminster Abbey. Same palace, same rules, opposite outcomes. 27 years of documented, verified, undeniable receipts. And Diana? She's still the people's princess, still loved, still remembered, still mourned by millions who never even met her but felt like she was family. That's something no crown can buy and no palace operation can manufacture. 15 things: titles, tiaras, staff, security, the Queen's own blessing, all denied to Diana. All handed to Camilla without a single question asked. This wasn't coincidence. This was a system that chose Camilla over Diana at each turn, and bet we wouldn't keep score. But we kept score, and we're not the only ones. Because when celebrities are invited to meet Queen Camilla, you'd be shocked at how many of them, quietly and sometimes not quietly at all, say no. Click here to see 20 celebrities who flat out refused to meet Camilla. And the reasons they gave tell you everything about where the world really stands.